Welcome everybody to World of Tanks replays. My name is Maxwell and today's first replays from the user James72468. That is James72468 and he's driving the Conqueror on a standard battle on Himmelsdorf. Conqueror being a tier 9 heavy tank for the British. Has a decent cannon on it. Has average frontal armor. It tends to get penetrated by tanks of the same tier fairly easily. What it does have is a nice accurate cannon and very, very tough turret armor. As you can see, it does have a commander's hatch on there, but even the commander's hatch is sloped to make sure that shots ricochet. So this thing's turret armor is absolutely, it's very, very tough. So in a hull down position like this, where he's looking through the window, it's going to be very, very difficult to damage. As you can see there, somebody having a shot, probably that Type 59, and just bouncing that first shot. The WZ-132 finally falls there. He did get a shot on him early, and then he made a beeline for the cap circle. Not sure who he was suicide scouting for, considering there's no artillery in this game. Type 64 also decides to go on a suicide scout mission. Probably thinks he can't be of much value in this game, so just decides to end it himself early. And commit suicide he does, and that's kill number 1 for James. Bounces another shot from an enemy tank down the way. The VK tries to back off, does indeed get away in time, but James hasn't suffered any damage as of yet, thanks to that very tough turret armor. Trying to see if he can get a shot on the Type 59 as the T-21 spotted him out. Didn't quite have the reload speed to be able to fire a shot back. Looks like the Type 59 is transitioning across to the railway tracks now, so that's where James decides to head. Going to try and offer some support to the IS and the T-21 that are making tracks down there. Nobody else on the train tracks, as those two tanks have gotten past the middle line of the map. Oh, finds a VK-4502B, and the platoon mates take him out very, very quickly. Now going to be looking towards the hill. Finds an IS-8, and that's an audacious shot, and it hits through the rubble of a ruined building up onto the hill to do some damage to that IS-8 there. An excellent, excellent shot. Thinking about having another one into the fog of war. He does indeed. Not sure if that one is going to have hit or not. Guess we will only see when we see the post screens at the end of the replay. So the battle for the hill is progressing nicely. The team is fairly even at all points. You can see the guys on the hill aren't terribly outnumbered, neither are the guys on the heavy line, on the 8 line. And the same can be said for the train tracks over on the left-hand flank here. Everything very even. So this game should progress pretty well. You can see even the score is incredibly even at 4 kills to 4 each. James going to be heading down here. Going to try and catch this VK off guard, but he's got to be careful that he doesn't take any damage from this Type 59. Type 59 looks like he's dropping back, so should be able to get alongside this VK pretty easily. Just angles himself up there, and the VK bounces his shot. Only got a 9-second reload on the Conqueror, so he definitely able to fire before the VK takes him out. Now he should have the rear armor of a couple of heavy tanks. No, it looks like they have indeed spun themselves around knowing what is coming on. So it looks like the KV-4 is taking advantage of that, so that's some excellent map awareness from his teammates. Everybody trying to back off here, looking for a shot on the side of the T-34 there, but decides to go for the AMX-M4 instead. Now having another look towards the hill, as the battle is now gone very, very south up on the hill. You can see that the Allied team has been wiped out to a man. The enemy team must have realised that it was fairly even up there, so decided to push a huge force. Because I cannot believe that they won an even fight without losing a single tank. James going to push down on this Type 59 instead. Type 59, I think, realises which way the wind is blowing and that his goose is cooked. So goes ham to take out the IS first. So at least he takes somebody with him. So a little bit of smart play there. But he does get taken out with a shot through the rear. And that's kill number 3. But now the hill has totally been overrun, but then again the Allies have totally dominated the lower half of the map thanks to excellent teamwork, map awareness and positioning. But now James is going to drop back with his platoon mate now to defend the base. Going to have a look up to the hill to see if we can see anybody. There is this T-44, has a cheeky shot before moving off again. You can see just trying to get another hit on that T-44. And what a blind shot there to take out the T-44 from that distance after he fell into the fog of war. So a nice bit of prediction work there from that range. Now it looks like the enemy team is starting a base capture along with the allied team. But it looks like Conqueror has come back to and a Leopard PT has come back, and they're going to make short work of that light tank. So it looks like the enemy team is playing smart as well, dropping back to defend their own base, knowing that they'd lost the lower portion of the map. And this game is still all even at 11 kills to 11, but now 11 to 12. But hopefully the Allies should make short work of this IS-8. Got him pincered in from the front and the rear, and he is now caught between a rock and a hard place. He's the only one doing the base capturing. So James just going to wait for his platoon mate in the ST-1 to come along, as he has the superior armor, and I'm not sure if the IS-8 is going to have an easy time penetrating that ST-1, considering he'd probably be looking at the corner where the Conqueror would come round. And there we go, the two of them just going to work this guy down. James just drops back to give the IS-8 only one target, but he's going to have the reload on the ST-1, so he takes the shot and he takes the kill for kill number 5. Now the Conqueror that was defending the base from earlier is now making a push directly through the centre. Going to get a shot straight through his turret there. Turret armour of the Conqueror, not the best in the world. Does take a shot from the left-hand side from that Indian Panzer, so going to allow his gun to focus in on him. And you can see the accuracy of the Conqueror coming into play there. Traversed his turret all the way around to that Indian Panzer, but was still able to land a very, very accurate shot. The two platoon mates made short work of the IS-8, and the Leopard PTA was steaming around the corner to try and offer some support, but the two of them were able to finish off the IS-8 and then spin around with plenty of time remaining. A little bit hesitant to push out just in case that Indian Panzer is still waiting. And there he is. He's making his way down the road there. Takes a huge hit through the side. And I think he's just going to try and run away and survive. KV-4's hopefully going to head down to the main road to try and head him off if he does try and make a run straight down the 8 line. And James going to be trying to head him off to get that elusive Top Gun medal. There he is. He's floundering in the street there. James is able to take him out, pick up kill number 6. Almost 6,000 points of damage. In fact, that probably will be 6,000 points of damage thanks to that kill that he got out of sight on the T-44. So absolutely awesome replay there from James. 7-2-4-6-8, showing his skill in the Conqueror and when and where the Conqueror can shine, pushing all the way down that left-hand flank, making short work of the enemies there before dropping back and defending the base against the overwhelming push from the hill. Unfortunately, the enemy team decided to assault them pretty much one at a time and then just get picked apart by the coordinated efforts of a well-coordinated team. So awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget to stick around because, as always, the score screens and another game are coming right up. And our second replay is from the user Fluid Lone Knight. That is Fluid Lone Knight, and he's driving the ST-1 on a standard battle on Ruinberg on fire. ST-1 being a Tier 9 heavy tank for the Russians. Now, I've taken a little bit of flack, and some people have criticised my pronunciation of the name of this tank, ST-1, claiming that it should be pronounced STI, as that is indeed a letter I after the dash. And that's not what I'm arguing. I'm not saying that it's not an I. It is indeed an I, but in this case, the I denotes the mark or the model number rather than being an actual letter. Same is the case in something like the Churchill Mark III. Oh, finds an early IS-6 here, pushing way too far forward. Gets a great hit through his armor. As I digress, he's going to try and drop back. Going to see if Fluid Knight can get another shot through his armor. Looks like he's going to be easily able to get another one on this IS-6. Just focusing in to make sure that he lands in the right place. And this IS-6 has taken a huge chunk of damage very, very early on. But back to my point, just as this E-75 pokes himself out, pokes out a little bit too far. He was at a nice angle for his lower armor earlier on, but he poked a little bit too far out, and he just gets a shot through his track into his armor, into the hull there. So yes, the pronunciation of the ST1, something like a Churchill Mark III. Although that is called the Mark III, it's written as Mark III, but you wouldn't pronounce it as the Churchill Mark III because that would be stupid. It is the Churchill Mark III. And the same can be said for something like, say, the Panzer IV. It's the Panzer IV, although it's written as Roman numerals, so it's the IV. Again, you wouldn't call it the Panzer IV because that would be stupid. Same goes for the ST1. You don't call it the STI because that would be stupid. You call it the ST1 because that is the mark or the model number written in Roman numerals. So back to the replay, gets another great shot on that E75 as the E75 is just dallying around trying to find himself a better position. If he's not in a good position, 2.5 minutes into the battle, he's probably doing something a little bit wrong. Fluid Knight going to continue pushing forward, although it looks like that E75 is now nestled securely in the side there. Got to be careful because there's a T29 and an AMX 1375 to his right. His ally in the IS-8 comes forward and takes a shot for him. Probably didn't mean to do that. His gun gets in the way just slightly, but then moves out of the way, and Fluid Knight's able to take out the AMX 1375 and pick up his first kill now of the match. Battle isn't progressing very well for the Allies, losing 3 kills to 4 at the moment. Looks like they're outnumbered a little bit in the city. Well, they've probably got even forces in the city, but most of the enemy forces are condensed. Going to see if he can get a shot back on this IS-6, which indeed he can. IS-6 was only able to take out his track in return. Artillery raining in to try and get some damage on this E-75. He's left his commander's hatch exposed, but that shot doesn't quite land from this range. Takes a shot on the side from something. That could either be the artillery or that KV-4. Judging by the damage that was done, I'm going to guess that it was possibly the artillery. Going to back off just till he's in cover, so that only his turret is exposed to the tanks in front of him and his side isn't exposed to artillery raining in from the sky. Still got an E75 and IS-6 in front of him. The Super Pershing is pushing down that main road there. Has pushed the enemy team all the way back to the D line here. I don't think that those two enemy tanks realise that Super Pershing is alone. Although, to be honest, they're both tier 7, so they're going to find it a little bit difficult to damage the Super Pershing. Going to have to rely on possibly the IS-6 or the E-75 turning around and trying to do something about that. Got the enemy in a nice pincer move. Although the battle on the far right-hand flank isn't going as well as it should. Losing at the moment at 4 kills to 7. Got about the same tanks in the city, although that Tiger 1 is way too far back and they are well outnumbered on that right-hand side. Fluid Knight finally going to push forward, going to find the KV-4 overlooking the central field. He's not paying attention to behind him, so he takes a large amount of damage through the rear armor. Not really sure. He is finally traversing his turret all the way around, but he's making a slow job of it. Stops to aim just as he gets taken out, and that's kill number 2. Looks like that IS-6 and E-75 have indeed done what I suggested and dropped back to defend against the Super Pershing and that Tiger 2. So that's going to allow Fluid Knight in his ST1 and this Tiger 1 to flank around behind them. Going to see if he can finally take out this IS-6 that he was able to get so much damage on early on. Indeed he is, and that's kill number 3. Now this leaves an E-75 and a Super Pershing and an IS somewhere in the mix. They have now eliminated the Super Pershing and the Tiger 2. So this is going to be a little bit of a game of carousel. They're all going to run around the buildings. Crashes into the wall a little bit as he tries to come around. Doesn't want to come around too fast, but does indeed spot everybody out. Going to go for the IS as he is taking cover. Beautiful shot to set him on fire, to take out all 692 of his hit points that were remaining. Now he's just got to focus on the E-75, who just made short work of the Tiger 1. Now the E-75 going to spin himself around to get his very, very strong front armor on to target, but it looks like his commander's hatch is exposed, and that's all Fluid Knight needs, and that's kill number 5. And he's single-handedly almost evened the score at 11 kills to 12. He's got himself and 2 artillery pieces left, against 2 artillery pieces, an E75 and an Object 416. Object 416 was last spotted on the field on that right-hand flank, so Fluid Knight drops back to defend the base, finds the 416, gets a beautiful almost snapshot to take him out, and that's kill number 6. Takes out the 416, and that was a fantastic shot, because if that hadn't have landed, that would have been a case of chase the 416 while the artillery tries to bombard them. Now, they've been chatting in the chat, and apparently it transpires that this E75 may, in fact, be AFK. And if he is, though, that would have just made the game even earlier on. Finds the GW Tiger, gets a fantastic shot on the GW Tiger to get an ammo rack on him, because he doesn't quite have the alpha damage to be able to take out a GW Tiger with a single shot. But as it is, gets an ammo rack, takes him out, picks up kill number 7, and then finds the E75, and he is indeed AFK. Hopefully he's not a bot, because what tends to happen is these bots wake up when they get shot or detect an enemy. But to be honest, with a player that has 16k battles and a 1280 win 7 score, he's probably not a bot. Artillery rains in to try and leech some of this damage, but misses a stationary target somehow. And people who say that artillery hasn't been nerfed, there is your proof. Either he didn't want to spend the time aiming, or he didn't have the ability to aim. Gets another great shot. Well, not really a great shot, let's just say a standard shot against the C75. Continuing to rock forwards and backwards, though. He doesn't want to get hit by the M53-55 that was last seen on the 9 line. But to be honest, with Fluid Knight concentrating on the E75, he might have made a move in to try and get him. Indeed, nope, he hasn't made a move. He's still sat in exactly the same spot. Fluid Knight focuses his gun in. He's already switched to high explosive ammunition. Takes his shot, takes the kill. 7,500 points of damage and 9 kills. Being an absolute wrecking machine in the city earlier on there. Just being an unstoppable force and an immovable object both at the same time. So absolutely awesome replay there from Fluid Lone Knight. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a great replay, send that into replay@screenreality.com. The link for that is in the description. Just attach the replay file itself or the link to the What Replay website, and I can check that one out for you. And don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed this video, you found it useful, informative, you learned something, or you just enjoyed it, then think about hitting that subscribe button, because there's a lot more World of Tanks content on this channel. I've been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks Replays, and I will catch you guys next time.